Hey there, and welcome back to the Disconnected. This video is my part 2 of my top 20 single film releases for all of 2021. I went through 20 through 11 previously. I hope you gave that a watch, and we're going to go through 10 through 1 now. Alright, number 10 is a film that I don't think I'd ever seen previously, and that is Blood for Dracula in 4K from Severin Films. This is a Paul Morrissey feature featuring Udo Kier as the lead Dracula, and it is a wild, wild film. It looks incredible, it looks super gothic. The HDR in this is great. Tons of features, has a CD soundtrack, really great release from Severin Films. They've got good art all over it. It is the classic Digipack style release. Overall, just a very good release, and it was priced, I think, pretty fairly for everything that you get with this. It is really well done, but overall, Severin Films has started to show that they are just one of the elites, and this is just adding to their newfound reputation. Number 9 for me, I don't really need to go into too much detail on this because pretty much everybody has seen this film. But this release specifically is just above and beyond what I could have hoped for. That is the import release of The Thing in 4K. This has a book, this has art cards, this has postcards, this has 4 different discs in it, including the movie on 4K, the movie on Blu-ray, special features, and then the 2011 prequel of The Thing. And it just shines. This is such a great release to add to the collection, and I love that the studio did this and they created it to match the style of the Studio Canal 4Ks that they did of the other John Carpenter titles, so it just blends right in. I would not believe that a studio had put this out in 2021 unless I saw this with my own eyes. It is crazy that Universal put this much love into it in the UK, and then in the US, the best we got so far is a Steelbook. But this is a great, great release. If you can find a copy of it, by all means, please get it. This was going for around 35 bucks, and this is probably worth twice that. This is so well done. Number 8 on my list is Summer of '84 from Vinegar Syndrome partner label Gunpowder and Sky. So Gunpowder and Sky have been doing some really good work. This is very similar packaging to what I showed with Ticks in the last one. We have the slip box. We have the slip cover with multiple sets of artwork, and it is in 4K, which is a huge win for a film like this, especially because the previous release of Summer of '84 was a BDR, which means it was just a burned disc. So glad we have this. On the inside, it came with a very cool milk carton. I haven't folded it out and put it up because I don't have anywhere to display it at the moment. I'm doing some very much needed organization, as you can probably see in the background, with stuff just piled up everywhere. Overall, just a great release of this film. Picture quality looks fantastic. Lots of special features on here. There's commentary, there's bloopers, there's interviews, all kinds of stuff. The overall package really just adds to it. The fact that they have so many different types of art that you can choose from. Everything about this is just a lot more attention to detail and love than I would expect for a title like this, especially one that was just stuck on a BDR for a few years. Overall, just really job well done. This looks fantastic. Number 7 on my list might be my other favorite discovery of 2021, and that is the second sight release of The Nightingale. This movie just shook me. There is so much power in this film, and this release really goes above and beyond to convey all of that. There is a really nice book in here, art cards. The movie itself genuinely looks fantastic on this Blu-ray. We've got all kinds of special features on this. We have interviews with pretty much everybody involved in it. We have a video essay. We have a making of the film. We have explaining the film in context, which is super important for this. And it is just a fantastic release. If you don't have The Nightingale from Second Sight, this is one that has stayed in print longer than I expected. So if you can still find it, by all means, please get it. It is well worth it. This movie is incredible, especially for somebody that it's only their second film directing. This is done by Jennifer Kent, the one that did The Babadook, and it is a winner of a film. I will warn, there is a really brutal scene about 25-30 minutes into the film, but after that, it is a very harrowing film, but it never goes back to that level again. But this is just a shockingly wonderful movie. All right, number 6, I'm living with Severin Films again, and that is Perdita Durango in 4K. Now, I may be a little bit biased on this one. I had been literally waiting on this release for about 2.5 years from Severin. When they first teased that they were putting out Perdita Durango, I expected a nice little Blu-ray, and instead I was blown away in getting a 4K release of a movie that I am shocked to see that we finally have uncut in our hands in glorious 4K. Now on the Blu-ray disc for this one, we have all kinds of special features. We have an interview with the director, interview with people involved, interview with the writers. There's information on the music from the film. It is just a really well put together package. This movie is so much fun. I will warn, just like I did in the last one, this one gets a little wild. There's like 5 sexual assaults in this movie, but it is meant to be extreme. And for those that don't know, it is actually tied into David Lynch's Wild at Heart. This is now going for around $30 on Amazon, and if you can find it at that price, absolutely pick it up. Super worth it. Really great looking 4K on this one too. All right, we are here in the top 5 finally. My number 5 is from A24, and that is The Last Black Man in San Francisco in 4K. This is their second film that they've released in this style with a big book and box. The first release didn't actually have the slip box, but this is just a really great release for a really well-made movie. There is certainly something to talk about on this one, in the fact that there are actually special features. Previously, they put out Midsommar in 4K in this style with art and all that, but there was no special features on the disc. So to have that present here is a big step forward. There's some really nice art in here. There's some writing on the film. If you've never seen the film, it is very worth it. It is a modern film, but it is very worth it because it is going into a very important problem, and that is basically identifying gentrification. And it is so well made, really well acted, and just a very touching film, to say the least. Last Black Man in San Francisco from A24. So far, I don't believe these have gone out of print at all, so just watch their website if you want this one. I will try to put a link below. This is so good. All right, number 4 is one that I've talked about in one of these wrap-up videos already, and that is Arrow Video's release of True Romance. I adore this movie. It is so much damn fun. I think that this is one of the best casted films of all time, and it just truly shows as you're watching this. Obviously, the 4K looks great. It was on my boutique best of 4K releases of the year, but the packaging on this overall just so well done. Arrow's classic hardbound box. They've got a steelbook in here, really nice posters. They've got a book. There's even a tattoo in here. There's some postcards. Then all the special features. We've got a Quentin Tarantino commentary. We've got all kinds of interviews. We have multiple cuts of the film. We have select scene commentary with some pretty big name stars. Just overall, absolutely moonshot of a project. This is a winner. Such a great release from Arrow. And I'm just glad that we have a good release of this film because it's kind of a classic, and not one that's gotten a lot of love on home video. So, True Romance, 4K from Arrow Video. Give it a chance. All right, getting close to the end. Here is the top 3. Number 3 is from what I think is the most consistent label in the entire boutique Blu-ray world right now, and that is from Indicator. This is their release of Irreversible. Now, I do understand that this is a movie that is hard to watch for a lot of people. There are 2 scenes in particular, one involving a fire extinguisher, one involving a tunnel, and it is just a hard movie to watch. I can't deny that. But this release is above and beyond what it needed and above and beyond what we could have had for this film, and I'm so glad they did it. This movie is really well made. I love Gaspar Noé, and this is something that we are finally able to put into the hands of a lot of people that have never seen the movie and give some love for this from, you know, decades after it was released, and especially with people like Monica Bellucci, Vincent Cassel. It is so well acted and so deserving of, you know, not only the reputation of being a rough film to watch, but being a film that is well made and something that is, I won't necessarily say realistic, but it is just absolutely harrowing and meaningful in life. And the emotions that you feel while watching this are so visceral. And I'm glad I was able to watch this year again. And I shared this one with my wife, and while it was hard to watch, she was glad that she watched it. This is a good choice. It's sort of a somber film, so apologies for that, but really well done. Indicator overall does a great job with their packaging. They've got poster in here, they've got a book. Legitimately, like, way too many special features. This is a crazy release to get through. It's also numbered. There are 10,000 copies of this. I have number 2022. This is just a shockingly good release of this film. Okay, we have two left. Both of them are 4K releases, both from companies we've already talked about tonight. Number 2 is The Guest in 4K from Second Sight. This is a monster of a release. It is huge. There's a giant book in here. There is art cards. There is a 4K release. The big thing that this was the first time to release is the musical soundtrack on CD, and it looks amazing. I love this movie, which helped quite a lot. This was a little bit on the expensive side. It was around $50 to $60, but to get the rights for that music was a huge step for this film, and I'm glad they were able to do it. If you've never seen The Guest, it is a very modern film. It is sort of a film that is not one that I want to spoil too much, so I won't go too depth into the actual plot. It is about a military buddy that comes home after his friend is killed. He goes to visit his friend's family, and then things end up not quite as they seemed. But overall, this is great, really good acting. Especially want to point out Lance Reddick. He was in The Wire. I love his acting in this. He is just a badass. But really great film. If you haven't seen it, easily my number 2 release of the year. My choice for number 1 standalone movie release of the year is one that you can see by the shirt that I'm wearing, and that is Severin Films' 4K release of Sangre. I adore this film, and I always have, and it is crazy to me that I'm able to see it in this high a quality. It looks amazing. It is just the best absolute release we could have ever hoped for this film. It is, again, their classic Digipack style release. This has 4 discs, including 4K Blu-ray, over 8 hours of special features, and an exclusive soundtrack CD. This is the best way to go, and this is fairly cheap still. This is going for around 35 bucks. Absolutely worth it. If you've never seen it, it is Jodorowsky at his best, I think. This is, I think, his best film overall. Really well done, really well acted, and just a batshit storyline that you will fall in love with. This is one to watch and rewatch a couple times just to really grasp everything. Love this film. My choice for number 1 standalone single movie release of the year, Sangre in 4K. And that's it. Top 20 of my standalone movie releases of the year. I hope you enjoyed those. If you did, give it a like below. Subscribe if you haven't. Share with your friends. Like I've said previously, this is the best time to share these films so that they can get an overall grasp of the channel and see if it's something they might want to tune in for. And thanks for hanging out for all of 2021. I'm absolutely looking forward to 2022. And as I usually say, from one collector to all of you, have a good night.